YouTube Nation. Good day, good morning, good evening, anyway there. I'm me, man, Missa B. Me did kind of go up on a little sabbatical for the past couple of weeks here, because, me have other things where I deal with, so. But I'm me again. I may have a little talk with I want to make on an issue that, as usual, I burn up the place down a yard and so we think. But may I encourage if you just go and support the channel still, hit the like button if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah. So, and as I say, hit the like button because when the next video drop, you always know say you up front and share, and thing. But right now, I want to focus on this state of emergency thing down a yard. I think, for once the political opposition of the country seems to be getting it right. I was always of the view that the state of emergency do work, and as a policing strategy, it wrong. It's not designed to accomplish the objectives where the government seem to be trying to use it for, and don't just take my word for it, The Prime Minister is out there trying to throw this argument. Just listen to where I come from. I think this was a conversation between the president of the Police Federation in response to the so-called Prime Minister Brogard and him argument. Listen to that tape.
The point of fact is that this is a tool that works. Proximity policing has proven to be a success more than the SOEs. And I make no apology. I will say against Andre, proximity policing has reaped more results than SOEs. So you're not in support of the SOE. I want to be very clear. I don't want to misinterpret. Proximity policing has reaped more success than SOEs. So again, you're right.
So what am I say? Proximity policing, and and this is the president of the Jamaica Police Federation, and them are the man who out there execute them in charge of the policeman, them execute the policing strategy. The reality is that a state of emergency basically put what you call static number of police units within communities, but they're not necessarily mobile. And what the president of the Police Federation is talking about is community policing. If you have policemen who are mobile, who are able to move through the communities, you have a greater impact on the crime problem. Let me put it another way. And a senior officer in the police force once said to me, and me and him, man, they still link up. And him say, police in Jamaica essentially know more than 99% of the criminals who, in the country. They know them. They know which path to find them, etc., etc. But there are certain mechanisms within the fabric of the politics of the country that mitigates against them moving against these criminals in a meaningful way. It may sound alarming, but it just underscores the hypocrisy of the methodology that we use, in terms of trying to address the criminal problem. Let me go further. State of emergency, to a large extent, it may have been ruled as constitutional based on how our constitutional work. But to a large extent, the approaches that are, brought to bear on its implementation runs completely contrary to anything that should be acceptable to the population of Jamaica. Remember, the issue of addressing crime in Jamaica cannot be pinned to a strategy that seeks to just arbitrarily lock up people and, detain them forever and that sort of thing. It has never worked. We've been trying this thing from 1974, and at no point in our history has this thing realized any results. In fact, sociologists are on record that one of the biggest tools for recruiting gang members in Jamaica, and as far as the gang culture in Jamaica is concerned, is the said state of emergency. And here's why. The state of emergency give the police and our joint police military patrols this unimpeded authority to detain young people, detain young men. And 98% of those who are detained are young men, usually between the ages of 15 to about 25, whatever. But to a large, all of the detainees are young men. It has no basis. It is called, as I hear Mark Golden, who is an opposition leader, he call it net fishing. And if you understand what net fishing is, you're in a boat out at sea and you just open out your net that is maybe 100 yards wide and you fire it out there and it pick up everything: garbage, shark, fish, crab, anything where it thing that it are carrying. So, and what it does, it is that net fishing harm the resources within the sea, and by extension, net fishing in terms of the application of a state of emergency, it harms your society. Because remember, the communities that them push these police posts in and action the state of emergency is usually the repressed communities. Now, if all we can do is bring that kind of draconian style of policing to a repressed community, there's no thought about rehabilitating the community, right? We get a policeman, them and soldier, hold up a big gun, and then they place them at different points. And while within the same community, gunshot are blaze around the corner, but the police them they're unable to respond because them in this static position. There was a case down at St. Catherine a couple months ago where there is a Zosa police presence just less than 100 yards away from the football field that the man them raise up going at the place because they look for one man, and they must kill about 3 or 4 people and injured maybe another 5 or 6 people. But yet there's a Zosa police presence that is just around the corner from where this happened, and the police couldn't respond because what them have is a static position. And so the Police Federation president argument, that's what makes his argument strong. If you know where these communities that are impacted by criminal activity and gang activity, what you need is floating police presence. The problem is that for years, we have basically been just traipsing along. The same Andrew Holness administration came to power on a promise, right? And I don't care who criticize my argument. My argument is based on the facts. It would have been October of 2016 when Holness is at a public campaign meeting, and him basically say to the attendees of the political campaign meeting, if you want to live, right, vote for the JLP, right? And you vote for JLP, we can promise you can sleep with your door and your window them wide open. No, it's a bullshit argument, But the point is that those were his words, right? And in the course of time, he won Jamaica House, and I will agree that the PNP needed to get him ass kicked out of power, because after, I don't forget the 19 years. I don't forget FinSac. I don't forget all of the crap that the PNP has done. And so here comes Andrew Holness on with a promise and this bravado. And he has done absolute friggin' shit since. A year after he took office, the murder rates in the country went to its highest level ever. Nearly 1,700 people died in Jamaica in 2017. In the same year that he took power, he won power in Jamaica in 2016, and we had a murder rate of just under 1,500 people died. So in less than 2 years, the Andrew Holness administration presided over the murder of over 3,000 Jamaicans, right? By 2018, the murder rate dropped down a little bit, and 2019. And then it just started to fly again because they have done absolutely nothing, right? You have a Minister of Insecurity, Dr. Horace Chang, who preside over Norwood constituency in Montego Bay, which is the major exporter of violence and death and guns and things within the western end of Jamaica, right? And it just demonstrates the level of hypocrisy within our political system. You know, I want to go back to the Golden point that I raised when, and Golden said that this is one of the arguments that, you know, kind of caused him and his opposition senators to vote against the maintenance of the state of emergency, this whole net fishing thing. And he previewed a video of a little youngster who is attending University of the West Indies. Him himself, obviously, in his own philanthropic vein, apparently is responsible for helping to send this young man to University of the West Indies. And police detain him, take him away. Him up on the road, I walk for going yard, and the police pick him up in the same state of emergency dragnet, which is what this thing does all the time. The people who are the face of this public state of emergency are ordinary Jamaican police men and women. And the state of emergency provide them with a blank check to go out there and repress poor people, right? Beat up young men and detain them and abuse the young Jamaicans and the population. It don't target no criminal. What you do is that you take a carte blanche approach and you gather up people picnic. Listen, me, you know, Marky, me move out of Jamaica because I can't manage them kind of something, right? Me just believe that it is just, you know, totally disrespectful as a political organization, as a government, to treat the citizens of a country in the kind of manner that this government wants to, you know, utilize this kind of draconian system as a maintenance tool for law and order. There's nothing that is being done to create the kind of programs and policy that looks at the causes of criminality and addresses those. Do I believe that we need a crack squad of police to deal with some of them criminal elements? Absolutely. But I don't support this thing where we figure we don't have to take a targeted approach to doing anything. So what we just do is that we impose all of these draconian measures. We put a whole heap of police out there. Some idiot who, you know, they might have the ability to qualify and become a policeman, but them use the authority that them have, and they abuse poor people. And the more that abuse is allowed to continue, what it does is that it fuels the resentment among the population, especially young Jamaican men, you know, against the security forces, right? Because a lot of these young men who are part of the military, especially the army, you know, call a spade. You watch how them brutalize and want to beat up the young citizens, them go into these communities. None of them want, because they might ride them and them want rape off the little young girl them around the community. And because the man them in there, some of them are feed them woman and thing, and you scrape up the man them and carry them away. That's not crime fighting. That doesn't solve the problem of the 1,500 murders that we are faced with for this year. And what it says is that as a country, our leadership is absolutely bankrupt of ideas. Nobody could have told me that this JLP oldness-led administration would have become so dunce and demonstrate this level of absolute density, right? Absolute out of touchness with the reality of the situation that currently faces Jamaica. Remember, you know, watch across the street, you know, just across the fence over Haiti. Haiti is descending into anarchy and chaos. And the reason why that is happening in Haiti is because the country has no political leadership. And I want to tell you something. Based on what I see going on down in Jamaica with Oldness and his band of criminals that he have as minister. Everybody in our politics down in Jamaica right now, especially in the government. And what they look for is an opportunity for those defend for themselves, for their own thing. It's an opportunity for enrich themselves. The corruption rampant and gone through the roof. And what you do, you use every opportunity you can get to repress the youth them about the state of emergency. Away with that. We need to, now is a time where we need to close ranks and look at the problem as one country, right? Bring the best brains that are available in the country together to deal with this thing. Let us come together as one Jamaica and create the kind of strategies that is designed to pinpoint the crisis areas. If you have a member of parliament, a government minister who is in charge of a community that is clearly a violence delivering community, them man they can't have no portfolio ministry in your government, right? Because you have to start from the top. Them man they must know who the problem is, and we have a minister of insecurity who is presiding over a constituency that is the leading exporter of violence in Western Jamaica, and him not do nothing about it. So that's my little piece about the state of emergency thing. If you like the video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friend them, and let me hear your feedback, in the comment section. Give me your comments, not necessarily whether you agree with me, but just give me your feedback, but until then, I'm me, Missa B, more time.